All right, welcome back to Module 3, which is Filter 1, Seller Desire of the Finding Off-Market Deals course. Now, as we get into this course, the first thing we do in every module is our disclosure. Remember that I am not a licensed attorney, accountant, financial advisor, broker, agent, or any type of licensed individual. I am just a student, just like you. I've just had a lot of success, and I want to share some of the strategies and some of the techniques that I use with you so that you can bypass a lot of the headache and a lot of the heartache that uneducated investors face as they try to go out and bootstrap their real estate investing career. So congratulations to you for purchasing your education and for taking these first steps into going out and becoming an educated investor. Now we're talking about the Deal Spotter system, and where we're at right now is filter number 1, Seller Desire. We're going to reach out to all of the leads that we generated in step 1 of the Deal Spotter system. This is the portion where we reach out to these sellers and see if they're even open to the idea of receiving an offer of some kind, whether that's a cash offer or a seller finance offer or even a traditional offer where you're going to go get a loan and that type of thing. So let's dive in and let's talk about it. So at this point, it's time to contact the property owner. Now, keep in mind, some of the lead sources that you're going to use that we talked about in the previous module, they're not going to include contact information for the property owner. Some of them don't include contact information for the property owner. And so it's up to you to find that. And there's a lot of different ways to do that. There's software that's available online. If you just Google the term skip trace, you're going to find software where you can type a name and a property address in, and it'll give you a phone number and an email address to reach out. Usually those services, in fact, I don't know of a service that doesn't have some sort of fee associated with it, but usually those fees are fairly nominal. Keep in mind, you're starting a business, right? This is just like a retail business where you'd have to go out and buy inventory. Well, in your real estate investing business, you're going to have to put a little bit of money out to buy some tools in order for you to start doing these activities. Those of you who are listening to this class already know that. You've already put some money out to start becoming educated investors. Well, there's a few more things that you're going to need, and a way to skip trace and get contact information for the property owners is one of them. Now, there are some free kind of band-aids out there. For a long time, I used a genealogy website, actually, that created or that gave out contact information for living individuals. So you could type that person's name and zip code and state that they lived in, and it would give you back a list of people that fell into that category, and it included their email address, their current email address, and their current phone number. You may find some of those things out there, and I'm not going to share that specific website with you because I'm not going to endorse them, and I'm definitely not going to close that loophole for those of you who have gone out and found them. But there are a lot of resources out there. Several free band-aids, as I call them, that you can use, similar to what I just described. And also, if you're more interested in efficiency, several paid sites that are out there that will do that same service in bulk. So you can just upload your spreadsheet, and it will populate it with the contact information. And this is probably the most efficient way. This is the way I would encourage you to do it, because it's just going to create this Deal Spotter system. If you try to bootstrap it and you try to get cheap with it, it's going to take a lot of time. And time is a resource that we can't make more of. Money is. We can make more money. We can't make more time. So, wealthy mindset says spend a little bit of money to save time, right? Employee mindset says the opposite. So you're going to want to use some sort of software to find the contact information. Keep in mind, this will be difficult as you're starting out. This will be something that you probably get frustrated with, and that's okay. That's part of the process. But it only takes finding the resource once, right? And getting it set up once in order for you to enjoy the efficiency that resource creates throughout the rest of your career. So spend some time researching skip tracing softwares and services that are available to you on the web, because they're going to be tools that will save you a lot of time and therefore open up your time to go out and make more money in the long run. Now, I want to talk to you about some of the scripts that we have in talking to homeowners, because once you have the lead and the contact information for the lead, it's time to reach out for them. And the best way to do that, in my opinion, and this may differ based on individual, but for me, it's always been reaching out to them on the phone. I find that is the most efficient way to do it, because I can usually do a little bit of negotiation on the spot. I don't have to drive to their house. For some people, they like doing it belly to belly, and that's fine if that's you. It's just going to take you more time, because you're going to have to travel to each one of these properties in order to have that conversation. In my opinion, that's just a little bit too much time expended for the amount of no's that you're going to get, right? And if we go back and we remember, one of our rules, rule number 2, is learn to love the word no. You're going to get no a lot, right? And that's why we're starting with the negative response script, where the homeowner says no, because this is the script you're going to use more than any other. So here's how the script goes. You pick up the phone, you dial their phone number, and you say, "Hello, may I speak to," whatever the homeowner's name is. And they say, "This is she," or "This is he." Or maybe somebody else answers. They say, "Hang on, I'll grab them." And then they pick up the phone and you say, "Hi, so-and-so. My name is Mitch Nelson, and I'm looking to buy a house in your neighborhood. Yours happened to stick out to me. Was wondering if you'd be open to a cash offer." "No, not interested." "Okay, thank you for your time. Have a wonderful day." Click, hang up. This is a very efficient process. And because you're going to be following this script more than any other, this is why I tell you not to run the math yet or jump to future steps in your lead generation process, because a lot of these are going to be no. So if you took the time to run the math on a property where they're not even going to listen to what you have to say, you wasted time, right? And this is all about being efficient. So get used to this script, memorize that. It's not very long, and if they say no, hang up. Move on to the next one, because there is low-hanging fruit out there. Especially as you start up this process, it's normal to get a little discouraged, because you're going to get a lot of no's before you get a yes. But hang in there. The ones that are successful with this are the ones that are willing to push through however many leads it takes to get to that yes. And a big part of this, especially as you're starting out, is that you're going to suck at this at first. You're going to be nervous. That's going to come through in the conversation, and people are going to be turned off by that. It's only going to take burning through a couple dozen leads before you start to build up that confidence to where you've got some confidence coming through in your voice. But be conscious of your tonality. Be conscious of the confidence that you're portraying as you say these things. Make sure that you smile as you're talking, because that comes through on the other end. They can hear whether you're smiling or whether you're frowning. They can hear if you're nervous or if you're confident. So just practice for the first little while. Again, nobody becomes an expert at anything without an incredible amount of practice. So, there's no basketball superstars without an incredible amount of practice preceding their superstardom, right? There's no superstar athletes. There's no superstar musicians without an incredible amount of practice that precedes that. This is no exception. Generating leads is a skill that you will have to take the time to develop. So get used to it, right? Be okay with people saying no, because if you take this personally, this is going to be a really difficult thing. But if you kind of get in the mindset of, hey, most people are going to say no, I'm okay with a no. I'm just going to hang up and move on to the next one. Then it's going to be no big deal. So make sure you get in that right frame of mind. Now, and this is a good reminder of rule number 2, learn to love the word no, right? So we talked about that. Just keep it in the front of your mind. Let's talk about what if we get a positive response? And this could be exciting, right? That's what we're going for, and we're going to have to dig through a lot of no's to get there. But your opening and your positive response. So it's the same script to begin with. "Hello, may I speak to the homeowner?" "Hi, homeowner. My name is Mitch Nelson. I'm looking to buy a house in your neighborhood, and yours stuck out to me. Would you be open to a cash offer?" Now, I kind of slaughtered that, but you know where I'm going with it. So same as before, it may not be the homeowner that answers. Just ask to speak to them, and obviously don't say homeowner. Use their name. You have that because you generated the lead that has their name involved in it. But if they say yes, if they say, "You know what? It's funny you called," and I've had these types of conversations before. They'll say, "It's funny you called. I was just talking to my spouse about listing our house. we would absolutely love to get an offer. And you say, fantastic, I'll need to take a look inside to see what I'm willing to offer. Is there any chance that we could set up a time to see your home and ask you some questions about it? Are there any other decision makers in the household that will need to be part of the conversation? Right? Obviously, pause between each one of these questions. You don't want to ask them in succession. Can we set up a time to see your home and ask some questions? Wait to hear their answer. Then say, are there any other decision makers in the household that will need to be a part of the conversation? Usually, if they're married, their spouse needs to be a part of it. So make sure that spouse is part of that meeting so that it saves you time. You don't want to have to go have 2 meetings or 3 meetings and just repeat yourself over and over again. Very simple script. You want to make sure that you stay excited, that you stay confident. But you will get these yeses. If you just keep trudging through the no's, you will get these yeses. The ones that say yes, you need to keep track of those. So what we're going to do is the wrap up, after you ask those questions and you go through the script, set a time with them, keep a calendar of the appointments you set. So you may have, I'm just going to throw out random numbers. I'm not guaranteeing that you're going to get these numbers, but just for a sake of an example, you may have 100 leads, right? And you may have 25 of those leads that say, yes, I'm open to an offer. And you say, great, I need to set up a time. When can we meet up, right? Don't make the mistake of not writing that down, because if you miss the appointment, they're gonna take that as a cue of how you're gonna treat the rest of the transaction, and they may not want to talk to you after that. So make sure you keep a calendar of the appointments you set. Don't forget to send reminders to the property owner. The positive responses pass this filter. So anybody that says yes moves on to the quick analysis filter, and you will do the quick analysis step before you actually go visit their property. Which means that some of the ones that are positive responses here may end up being, dropped later on in the process. So be aware of that. Don't think that just because they said yes, that this is the deal that you're buying. Know that there are other steps that we're going to talk about in later modules. But this just means that it passes through this filter, and then we're going to move on to step 2 with it. The negative responses get dropped at this filter. Move on. Right? I usually take those negative responses and I put them into a dead file, and I may drip on them with direct mail campaigns or email campaigns or something that doesn't require a whole lot of my time. You occasionally get people coming out of the woodwork with drip campaigns that you set up, but those negative, for the sake of your immediate efforts and where you're spending your time, the negative responses, you're just going to drop them. So we're going to take those positive responses and we're going to move on to the next step. Now, keeping in mind that we are focused on loving the word no, I want to recommend a book. And I usually don't recommend things. Earlier on you heard me avoid recommending any kind of product or anything. And keep in mind, this is not a paid endorsement. It's just a book I love. And it completely changed my mindset when it comes to this particular system in the real estate investing game. And the book is called Go for No. It's written by Richard Fenton and Andrea Walsh, and it completely reframes what no means in a negotiation process. So I highly recommend it. It's going to completely change your mindset. So it's worth a little bit of money, whether you love audiobooks or actual paper, that you can hold in your hands. It doesn't matter. They're available in both those formats. This book is available in both those formats. Read the book. It's amazing. Again, this is not a paid endorsement, but I highly recommend it. Read the book. It's awesome. So that takes us past our first filter in the Deal Spotter system. Next, we're going to be moving on to quick analysis, where we actually do the math and start to figure out whether or not these properties are going to work as we run the numbers on them. And again, back to the rule, no emotional investing. We don't invest based on emotion. We don't invest because we got all excited that they said yes, they'd be open to an offer. That doesn't mean we're going to buy it. What really dictates whether we're going to buy it or not is, at this point in the game, is the numbers. And step 2 in our next module, which is module 4, we're going to be talking about how to run those numbers and some of the tools that we've included with your education to make that an easier process for you. So I will see you in the next module.